I'm here with author and preacher and producer, you name it, he's done it. DeVon Franklin, thank you so much for taking time to interview with me before your book signing here in Barnes and Noble.
Of course, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
It's our second interview, first one on the phone, this one in person.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This is very cool.
Likewise. I'm glad we can make it happen.
Yeah, me too. So The Truth About Men comes out
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And what got you excited to write this book?
You know, I got really excited about this book just because when I really started thinking about, seeing all the stuff that's going on in the culture and, especially with men and our behavior, and I'm always one that is looking for the solution.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do about it? And so, I wanted to write this book as a way to articulate the challenges that men are facing,
Mm-hmm.
and also point towards solution that men can take in order to become the men we were created to be, and give women information along the way.
And now this is your fourth book.
Yes. Yes.
Produced by Faith was your
Yep,
first, The
yep.
Wait, and then The Hollywood Commandments.
That's right.
Was your process any different this time? I know you wrote this pretty quickly after The Hollywood Commandments.
Yes. The process was different in that I wrote this while I was in production on my film Breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So I was shooting in Winnipeg, Canada, and I was in production there, and would come home and write a little bit in evenings, but also write pretty much the entire weekend. And this book required me to, go deeper inside and become more transparent than I ever have in any other book.
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, it's a vulnerable book. The process was hard because I had to write some things I didn't want to write. I had to talk about some stuff I didn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But the same transparency that I'm trying to encourage in others and the same truth I want them to walk in,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important that I model that. So if I'm writing a book that's not transparent or vulnerable, how can I hope to inspire those things in the reader?
And this book focuses on the dog, the master, and the dog that becomes the beast.
Mm-hmm.
What made you pick this topic?
Sure. For me, I came up with this idea years ago, and originally it was titled, Are Men Really Dogs? And that came from a revelation that I found when I was a teenager, found out that my father had cheated on my mother
Mm-hmm.
with another female family member. And that revelation really just rocked me to my core, and so I began to ask this question, are all men this way? How is this possible? And so as I began to really think about this and do research, this idea that, well, one, men are not dogs, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a dog, you're not a dog.
No.
However, this idea, this metaphor of dog training actually became very apropos when I started thinking about our issues. I believe every man struggles with lust, and I define lust as a selfish impulse for sexual, financial, personal, or
Mm-hmm.
professional fulfillment, even if, by any means necessary, even if those means are detrimental. And so as men, lust is a selfish thing. We want it. We want, to be satisfied. We want our needs to be met. And many times when that need becomes so strong, or that want becomes so strong, that lust can control our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought about it, I said it's very much like an untrained dog. No matter how much you may love or how cute an untrained dog may be,
Mm-hmm.
when that dog has no discipline, it tears up everything in its wake. So as cute as it can be, it's also a nuisance to itself and everyone it comes in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So I began to think about that and say, hey, you know what? Let me use that as the metaphor. And then also, I believe every man has love in them. The love of themselves, love of God, love of the woman in their life. Love is selfless.
Mm-hmm.
And so I call love the master. And, there's a lot of dog owners, but not a lot of dog masters. And as men, for us to be the men we were called to be, we have to learn to practice love and put that as our highest priority. And when we do it, we can become the men that we really can be. But when we don't master the dog, we become what the dog wants us to be.
And now you're very open in your books. Would you say that this was the most challenging book that you wrote? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. This is the most challenging book I've written because, one, the climate in the world and the culture relative to men's behavior.
Yeah.
It's such a polarizing moment now to talk about men and what should be done. So that in and of itself was a very difficult thing to try to tune out. Because whenever I'm writing a book, I'm trying to just, tune out the world and really hear from God about what I'm supposed to write and what I'm supposed to say. And the higher I go in Him and the deeper I go in myself requires tuning things out. But that noise in the world is so strong, it made it difficult. Being vulnerable made it difficult. Being transparent made it difficult. Writing in such a way where I can give women information, I can challenge men, but not vilifying men. You know, not victimizing, you know, anyone. Like just trying to write the book from a non-judgmental place, a place where I include myself in the conversation.
Right.
I don't point the finger. I'm not saying that, you know, all, you know, men out there have this issue. I'm saying I have this issue. That I have a master in me, I have a dog in me, I have love in me, I have lust in me, and I have to work on it every day if I want to be who I say I am.
I think that's what speaks to so many people who read your books, is that you use yourself as an example and not as somebody who's just preaching to somebody.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's very important, and that voice comes through in all of your books.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned you have The Breakthrough coming out, the movie Breakthrough coming out with Chrissy Metz. That's coming out in spring, right?
It comes out Easter, April 17th. We open the Wednesday before Easter weekend. And let me tell you, this movie, it's the most powerful film I've ever been a part of. It's the most emotional film I've ever been a part of. I mean, this movie is truly a Kleenex and a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And I've already been screening the film all around the country, and people, their response to it is like no other film I've ever been a part of. I mean, we released the trailer at the beginning of December. We already have, as of last week, 91 million views.
Wow.
Of the trailer alone.
This
movie is just, and Chris is a juggernaut, and Chrissy Metz is a revelation.
Yeah, she's
if
special.
you think you know her on This Is Us, you don't have any idea. Wait till you see her in Breakthrough.
Now this, as I mentioned, was your fourth book, and I asked you this last time. Any plans for a fourth? And you're like, oh, I think I need to take a break. And here we are at your fourth. So we're gonna come up with a fifth soon, or are you taking a break for real this time?
No, you know, when I really step back, you know, this is the third book in 3 years.
That's a lot.
And in about that same time, I've done 3 movies. It's crazy. I mean, seriously. I mean, writing one book is hard enough. Producing one movie, but to have done them concurrently, you know. Here's what I will say: I have no intentions of releasing a book.
Like deja vu.
You know, what are we in? I would say 2021, maybe.
All right.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll go set the next one up, right? Because I have an idea for the 5th one, which I think will really work. However, what I will say is that it's really about the truth about men.
Yeah.
I take stair steps. If this book, you know, is successful and there's a demand for this, that tells me I need to keep going as an author. I don't write just because I want to hear myself talk.
Right.
I write because there's a need, and if as long as there's a need and people need what I'm doing, I'll do it. But if it feels like, you know, people can kind of do without it, then I'll stick to producing.
Now, I know you hit the gym a lot to de-stress.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Because, I mean, you're always on social media, you're always promoting, you're always helping people out who follow you. What do you actually do to, like, decompress besides the gym? And do you have more than 5 minutes to yourself in a day? Because it doesn't seem like it.
Not right now. Right now it's been the book and the movie and everything in between. But normally I spend time with the missus and, you know, watch Netflix and our TV shows. I spend time with the family, you know, hang out. I love to go to the movies. That's something that's really, you know, a lot of fun and de-stresses me. You know, I just like to chill, you know.
Yeah, you better keep spending time with the missus. We don't want the 5th book to be a divorce book. That will really put the other.
Oh man, the real truth
shame.
about men. Stop being so busy.
That's right. One of the things that you preach is that people come into others' lives for a reason, and you and I have. You came into my life when you were on Good Morning America. You aired on my father's birthday, who has since passed quite a while ago, and that turned me on to your books. And you really have filled a need in people's lives where they look to someone. What does that feel like to you, that you fulfill such a? I know you say you're just a messenger from God, but you're doing a really stand-up job as being that messenger.
Wow.
What is that like to you to know that you've touched so many people?
You know, it's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because you know, many days I don't think I'm doing enough. You know, many days I'm like, man, you know, am I doing enough on social media? Am I saying enough? Am I helping enough? Am I sharing enough? So, yeah, you know, when I hear stories, you know, like yourself, I mean, they deeply move me, and I'm grateful that anything that I might say or write or do would help somebody else that I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's, you know, quite a blessing, and without a doubt a responsibility and an accountability. So, you know, it's hard to have perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but I just try to take it as it comes.
Good. Well, know that you're affecting many people, and hopefully that makes you feel good inside. And
Thank you. It does.
hopefully you'll keep doing the same.
Amen.
For the future. DeVon,
Amen.
thank you so much for taking the time
Of
to
course.
meet up with me. It's been a real pleasure and
Of
quite
course.
an honor to
Of
interview
course.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much.